And the one important thing that I realized was I actually do like MA. You know, there's a reason that freshman year I signed up to do the degree, and you know, all of those doubts that I had before of should I major in history of science, should I major in civil engineering, should I major in ME or coast, like, you know, I had the chance to actually go out in the real world and try doing my own project helped me to realize that I made this decision for a reason. And so now coming back to Princeton, I'm a lot more sure of what I want to do. I also had a chance on my time away to learn how to code. I didn't want to just work on one project. I wanted to make sure that I was also, you know, taking the time to figure out other things I like to do. So this is a dining hall picker thing that I built using C# this summer. And basically what it does is I primarily eat a paleo diet on the weekdays. So sometimes if just looking at the Princeton menu, it'll show you everything, but I don't want anything that might have gluten in it, or dairy, or legumes in it. And so I have this filter that I'll just spit out only the things, for example, that might have whatever the diet that I want to eat. So whether it's vegetarian or gluten-free or whatever. So I'm happy to share the link with anyone if anyone wants to use it. But yeah, like another thing that I realized was I also like posts. Who would have known? I would not have known if I hadn't taken the time off to build this app. And another thing that I did on my time off was I got better at coxing. I actually had a chance to join the Canadian national team, and we won the Henry Royal Regatta where we beat the German Olympic team in the final. And you know, this was actually really crazy. How I got this opportunity was I emailed these national team coaches, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not in school right now. Can I come watch you guys?" And so for like 2 months, all I did was like sweep the floor and like wipe the boats down and stuff. But it turns out that they needed a coxswain. And so since I was already there, I knew all the rowers, and even though they brought in a couple of other coxswains to try out for the position, because I already known the rowers and I knew what they needed to improve on, they gave me a chance to actually cox this national team boat for a summer. And you know, it was really astounding to me because this opportunity would have only existed because I wasn't in school and other coxswains were. And I actually took the initiative to email those coaches myself. And so, you know, we won. The very first time I'd ever been thrown in the water, it's a rowing tradition, and it was on Canada Day. So, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is these kinds of opportunities can happen to anyone. The only reason it happened for me was because I actually emailed someone about it. And so, lessons that I learned that hopefully doesn't sound really obvious, but you know, I think it is something that we can all do a little bit more. Is if there's an opportunity that you think you might secretly want but are too afraid to ask, just email someone about it and just be like, you know, what's the best way that I can get involved, even if it's watching you, job shadowing you. You know, I'm not expecting to be paid, but I think this is one of the flexibility. This is a flexibility often that you have just by being able to take time off. Another thing is I actually fixed my personal life on my time off. So this is the first time I've ever talked about this, but I was really uncomfortable with who I was while I was at Princeton. I was, you know, on this team where it felt like we had all these social expectations, and you know, I felt like I could only stay in the closet. So when I moved to San Francisco, it was really different for me. This is my girlfriend, she's in the audience. You know, this is something that I realized by moving to a place completely different from Princeton, that I could have been out the entire time at college, and it wouldn't have mattered. You know, and I think an important lesson that I learned is that it's true. We all are awesome exactly the way we are, and it doesn't matter. You know, sometimes feeling at Princeton, you feel like you have to be a certain way. You have to be perfect. You have to meet everyone else's expectations. And actually going out into the real world and realizing there are other people exactly like you, or who are going to accept you for the way you are, helps to get a little bit of perspective. And it's honestly easier said than done. But this was, you know, a really profound, you know, moment for me, and I wanted to share that with you right here. So goals for me in the next 2 years, graduating from college is a really important one. At the same time, Substitute is continuing to run. We're hopefully going to roll out 1,000 units in India next year since we've decided that's where we want to focus. And I'm also helping to relaunch the Gap Year Network to tell other students about this amazing experience I had. And I think, one thing that if you take away one thing from my talk, it's that there's no one set path. You do not have to graduate in only 4 years if that's just not what's going to work. And now I want to tell you about some things that I've learned to optimize my Princeton experience. So when I was a freshman, I signed up for like 7 clubs, and I think all of us make this mistake freshman year. We signed up for everything we could possibly be interested in. And so this involves like me joining 3 clubs related to international development or Africa. And then, I'm in this social entrepreneurship class. But what I realized was because I had this time to actually do these things off campus on my time off, now when I'm back on campus, I want to focus on things that I wouldn't have a chance to do otherwise. Things like, doing more coast classes or focusing on getting a robotics certificate, which are things that I wouldn't have thought to do before. So, if there's one thing that I can really tell you, it's that you should remove some of the redundancy that you might have and just focus in on core things that you can only get at Princeton, because you're going to have the rest of your life to do those other things that you're interested in. Another thing is to plan out all your semesters in advance, which is actually possible to do if you consider your distribution requirements and you approximately be like, okay, I'm going to take an HA class this semester and this coast class this semester, and really making sure that everything fits in. I did not do this, and I just took random classes whenever I felt like it, and now I'm cramming to fit all my distribution requirements in. Don't do that. Then the final thing is stop trying to be this perfect duck where you look like you're gracefully swimming on the surface and deep down inside you're struggling, right? Underneath the water you're struggling. One thing that I really learned is actually tell my professor, I didn't do so well on my problem set last week. I'm really sorry. Can you tell me how I can do better? Here are some extra readings you can do. Here are some, extra problems you can do. It's actually okay. They're not that scary, and I've realized that talking to my professors, even though this sounds obvious, none of us actually did it, or I didn't until now, is that they're so understanding, and obviously it can actually change your grade just by showing that you care and you're taking this initiative. So, anyways, hit me up if you have questions or comments or you want to talk more. But yeah, thanks for hearing me out, and I'm really excited to be back at Princeton. Thank you.